The sun hung soft and golden over the garden that afternoon, the kind of light that reminds you of summers long past, when life felt simpler and promises carried more weight. It was a warm October day in a quiet corner of Georgia, the air scented with late-blooming roses and fresh-cut grass. White chairs stood in neat rows under a graceful arch draped in ivory flowers, and the soft hum of anticipation filled the space as family and old friends gathered. At the front, near the simple wooden altar, stood Evelyn Marie Thompson. She was 58, graceful and strong, her dark skin glowing against the elegant white strapless gown that hugged her figure with quiet confidence. Her hair was swept up in a neat chignon, a few silver strands catching the light like threads of wisdom earned over decades. Evelyn had raised her daughter alone after losing her first husband too young, working double shifts, saving every penny, teaching Sunday school, and never complaining. She believed in second chances, in love that could come later in life and still feel true. Beside her stood Richard Harlan, the groom. He was 62, tall and silver-haired, dressed in a sharp black vest over a crisp white shirt, his tie perfectly knotted. Richard had a warm smile that put people at ease, a steady voice that spoke of stability. He owned a small accounting firm, talked about retirement plans in Florida, and had courted Evelyn with patience and flowers every Friday for 2 years. To everyone watching, he seemed the answer to prayers whispered in quiet nights. And then there was little Amara, Evelyn's 12-year-old daughter. She wore a simple gray dress that fell just below her knees, her hair in neat braids adorned with tiny white flowers. Amara was small for her age, with wide thoughtful eyes that took in everything. She had always been the quiet one, the observer, the child who noticed when adults smiled too wide or when stories didn't quite line up. She loved her mother fiercely, the way only a child who has seen her parent carry the world alone can love. The minister had just begun the vows. The words floated gently on the breeze. "Do you, Evelyn Marie Thompson, take this man?" Amara stood in the front row, her small hands clasped tight. She had tried to speak before. Weeks ago, she had tugged at her mother's sleeve in the kitchen and said, "Mama, something doesn't feel right about Mr. Richard." Evelyn had knelt down, smoothed Amara's braids, and smiled the patient mother's smile. "Baby, grown folks have their ways. He's good to us. Trust me." Amara had nodded, but the unease stayed, growing like a shadow. She had watched Richard closely. The way he answered questions about his past with quick, polished stories that never quite connected. The late-night phone calls he took outside. The way he spoke of money, casual mentions of investments, of helping Evelyn with her mortgage, of a life they could build together, if only she said yes today. Amara had overheard him once, on the porch, voice low, "It's all set. After the papers are signed, we'll handle the rest." She didn't understand the words, but she felt the cold in them. Now, as the minister paused for Evelyn's answer, Amara stepped forward. Her chair scraped softly against the aisle runner. Heads turned. A murmur rippled through the guests. "Amara, honey, sit down," Evelyn whispered, her voice gentle but firm. But Amara kept walking until she stood right between them, small and determined, looking up at her mother with those big, steady eyes. "Mama," she said, her voice clear and trembling just a little, "don't marry him." The garden went still. Even the birds seemed to hold their breath. Richard's smile faltered for the first time. "Sweetheart, this isn't the time." Amara ignored him. She pointed one small finger straight at Richard's chest. "He's a liar, Mama. He lies about everything." Gasps rose from the crowd. Evelyn's hand flew to her mouth. "Amara, baby, what are you saying?" Evelyn's voice cracked, the first real crack in her calm. Amara swallowed hard. "I found the letters in his briefcase when he left it open last week. He has another family. In Atlanta. A wife. 2 kids. He never divorced her. He told them he was on a business trip. He told you he was widowed. But he's not. He's married already. And he wants your house, Mama. He said once the wedding's done, he can get the deed transferred easy. He said you trust too much." The words hung there, heavy and true. Richard's face drained of color. He took a step back, eyes darting to the exit. Evelyn turned slowly to him. Her eyes searched his face, the face she had trusted, the one that had promised to walk beside her through whatever years remained. "Richard," she asked quietly. "Is this true?" He opened his mouth. Closed it. Looked at the ground. Then, without another word, he turned and walked, fast, down the aisle, past the shocked faces, past the flowers, out toward the parking lot. His polished shoes clicked against the path until he was gone. Silence settled, thick and aching. Evelyn sank slowly to her knees on the white runner, her beautiful gown pooling around her. Tears slipped down her cheeks, but she didn't sob. She just reached for Amara and pulled her close. Amara wrapped her arms around her mother's neck. "I'm sorry, Mama. I didn't want to hurt you. I love you too much to let him hurt you." Evelyn held her daughter tight, rocking her gently. "No, baby. No. You saved me." You listen to that quiet voice inside, the one that knows truth even when grown folks don't want to see it. "Thank you." The guests began to move. Some came forward with soft words. Others stood back, giving space. An old auntie placed a hand on Evelyn's shoulder. "Child, sometimes the Lord sends the smallest angels to guard the biggest hearts." The minister cleared his throat. "Perhaps we can take a moment." But Evelyn looked up, still holding Amara. She smiled through her tears, a small, real smile. "No ceremony today. But love is still here. My daughter. My family. That's enough." Later, as the sun dipped lower, the chairs emptied slowly. People hugged Evelyn, told her she was strong, that better days would come. Amara stayed by her side, hand in hand. That evening, back home, Evelyn sat on the porch swing with Amara curled against her. The crickets sang their old, familiar song. "You know," Evelyn said softly, "when I was your age, my mama used to say, listen to children. They see with fresh eyes what we forget to notice. I should have listened sooner." Amara rested her head on her mother's shoulder. "It's okay, Mama. We got time now. Real time." Evelyn kissed the top of her daughter's head. "Yes, we do. And we'll fill it with honest days. No more rushing. No more pretending. Just us, building something true." In the quiet that followed, the two of them sat together, watching the stars come out one by one. Life had interrupted their plans, but in its place came something deeper, trust rebuilt, love proven, a bond that no lie could break. Years later, when Amara was grown and had children of her own, she would tell this story to them on quiet evenings. Not as a tale of scandal, but as a reminder, sometimes the bravest thing is speaking the hard truth. And sometimes, the smallest voice carries the loudest wisdom. Because in the end, love isn't about the wedding. It's about the people who stand beside you when the music stops. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, subscribe to the Black Voices, and drop a comment below. Let us know what moved you most. Help us keep sharing these real, warm stories of life, family, and truth. Thank you for listening. God bless.